Hello, everybody. Welcome to Becoming the Better You. Man, we just had a fantastic conference, and I got somebody here I want to bring up and talk with you, not just because he's Dr. Toby Potter, but because I want to hear his life story. You see, I'm fascinated by what people do, how they get to where they are, and then their history, right? Not just their history of them. I like talking to their family members. We're going to get down and dirty with the truth behind Dr. Toby Potter. Hey,
Hey, hey,
Toby.
hey, 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 Brenda, how are you?
I'm good. How's it feel to have that doctor beside your name?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's been a full 12 hours today of going around and telling everybody that they're not addressing me correctly and correcting them. And I think I'll have to wear a shirt tomorrow that says I am now a doctor. Address me accordingly. But no, it's been a blast. It's been a
That's
blast.
good. That's good. Well, you've earned it. Your work has put you there. My dad was when I first got mine. He said, "You just have a 4-year degree. How do you skip the master's degree?" And I said, "I'm gonna let Ruben answer that." And Ruben said, "Well, you pay for the classes, you take the test, you pass the test, you get the paper. In real life, you pay for the classes, you
Oh
pass the
yeah.
test, so you get the paper. And that's
Yep.
how do you argue with that? It's something else. So before we start bringing up your family who kind of get to tattletale on you, I
Yeah.
want to know who the amazing Dr. Toby Potter is.
Ooh, so we don't have 4 to 6 hours, so we'll try to keep it brief. But grew up on a dairy farm up in Oklahoma, small town, big family, four brothers, four sisters, very small uh, living quarters. And grew up with an a very driven work ethic, and really instilled early in life that if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you better bust a gut trying or get it done. Was one of probably the most profound statements that was instilled in me as an early kid. And the other thing that I think that really shaped my life, being on that dairy farm, being out there, no money. Um, we had to do everything ourselves. Something broke, we fixed it, and we fixed it with whatever was handy. It wasn't like you run over to Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up supplies. You went, started scrounging around and found what you could find to fix it, and that created this mentality of that anything can be fixed, anything can be worked through. Nothing was disastrous or catastrophic, and it transformed for all of us kids in
Mhm.
our day to day life. My dad passed away uh, uh, early in the 1990s and finished college. I had aspirations to go into the Marine Corps as an officer. Was appointed as officer candidate school, and then shortly after I won that appointment, was he was diagnosed with cancer, and so I resigned that position, left college, went home, worked on the ranch for a small period of time, and then he passed away. I then went back to college, finished my degree, and drove to Dallas and said it's time to start a new life. And came down here and uh, met an amazing young lady and got married and started a family and have been up and down through this turbulent life for the last 32 years, plowing through, building legacies, watching them be destroyed and rebuilding, and just, really have seen all the power that God has instilled in me, all the passion and fire, and what has allowed me to fight through disruption and negative situations, I guess is the best word, and be able to know that no matter what, I would rise above and never hesitated, never looked back, and never changed paths. It's always been plowing forward, kind of like what we talked about today, plowing forward, knowing that there's resistance, knowing that there's going to be big brick walls to plow through, but never look back and never second guessed it.
And I know we've shared bits and pieces of your story, and you decided when your first child came along that you were going to change your career.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. So I don't want you to tell us all of that because I got questions to ask your wife, and we're going to bring her up first. You ready?
Yep.
You guys
I'm
ready to
ready.
meet
Yep.
Mrs.
Yep.
Potter, Mrs. Toby Potter, the amazing Angie Potter?
Yep. The
Hey, Angie.
powerhouse behind the man, right?
That's right. That's right. So I've gotten to know Angie. She's been right there beside her husband. They really are a team marriage. And first I want to talk about that. Has it always been that way?
Yes.
Pretty much, yes.
That's good. And how many years have you been married?
30? Yeah.
Uh-oh.
30.
No, you're right. You're
31.
right.
31.
31.
Right now would be 31.
I see Amber in the background saying 31. So
Yeah, he's right. We've known each other for 32 years, been married for 30, have a child, 31 years, and have a child that's 30 years old. That's right.
there we go. So I heard that you were not his type, that he had a type.
Blonde haired, not blonde.
So, Toby, so she wasn't your type. What made you say she's the one?
So, growing up, there was this, vision, that I thought I wanted, but I never really I dated girls that were blonde, and I dated probably every girl I dated was a blonde, but I never really had this. There's always something that just didn't ever. Most of them were psycho. We're live, so all you blondes on here, you can be pissed all you want, but they were all psycho. And so I knew it wasn't something I wanted to marry. And when I decided that I wanted to be married, and here's what's the amazing thing, and I've shared this story on stage, but when I decided, I had a landscape company, and when I decided to get married, I was out on a job. One of my crews had missed mowing a house, so I had to load up the truck and trailer and go to this guy's house and mow it real quick, weed eat and edge it. And I was by myself when I was out there, and I said, you know what, God, I'm ready. I got this company, we're doing good, but I'm ready. I need a partner. I need a life partner, and I want somebody that is country. Number one, they had to be country, not cowgirl, not any of that. I wanted a country girl that understood outdoors, that loved outdoors and all this. I did want her to have a horsing background, to be able to ride a horse, because I loved riding horses, but never really had the opportunity. So I wanted somebody that could help bring that about. And I'm going through this checklist, and I said, I want a brunette, and I want this, this, and this, and this. And I laid it all out, and I literally envisioned what I looked for. And so the minute I saw her, as I've shared, I only saw, and this is what's really funny, I only saw the backside of her. She stepped out of that car. I only saw the backside and said, I'm going to marry that girl. And the guy beside me is like, you're going to do what? I said, I'm going to marry her. And he said, no, you're not. That's Angie. I know her. Don't worry about it. I said, dude, stop hitting me. I'm going to marry her. And he said, no, you won't. I know her. You guys will fight like cats and dogs. Just go have a good time tonight. And I said, that's the girl I'm going to marry. And then, of course,
I did.
Yeah, I did. I could see.
Wow.
This is what, when I get, and she'll tell you, and the kids will tell you, when this thing kicks into gear, nothing stops me.
I'm witnessing some of that. But Angie, why Toby?
Well, because he wore me down.
I can see that. I can see that.
He wouldn't go away.
He just kept on coming on.
on
Just
coming,
kept coming,
yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah, he kept
So how
coming.
long did you date before you got married?
Oh, it ended up being a little over a year from first date to marriage. But once we started dating, we got serious fast.
Okay,
So
good.
we were engaged within 6 months of starting dating.
So no, you got to tell the story. I'm tired of telling you. Got to tell the story.
Okay.
Tell the story.
So, like he said, me and a girlfriend were going out one night, reached out his new roommate, called me and said, "Hey, where are you going? We want to go with you." I said, "Who's we?" And he said, "Me and my roommate." Well, I didn't even know he had a roommate. I thought he still lived at home with his parents, but okay.
Not me, the other guy.
The other
Yeah, the
guy.
other guy, because I didn't know Toby yet. So they met us. They got in the car with us, and we went to Cowboys in Dallas. And we were getting along really good, but I had an ex-boyfriend show up, so I just kind of
Uh-oh.
hid out because this guy could be aggressive, and I didn't want any fighting going on. So I just kind of lollygagged around the bar and kind of made myself scarce. And they thought we had left, so they ended up catching a cab home. So I get a phone call the next day going, "Hey, why'd you leave us?" And we didn't leave you. We shut the bar down. There's no way we left you. But yeah. So then he kept asking me out, and I wouldn't go out with him by myself. I would take a friend with me. I just wasn't comfortable yet going out with him by myself. He kept calling, asking me out. Well, I was barrel racing at the time, doing the horse thing, and I was hauling all over and dating other guys at the same time, and so I just didn't have time for him, basically. And he just kept asking, then he'd start going to barrel races with me, and then was like, "Hey, finally, can we have a date?" "Okay, fine, we'll have a date." I told my mother, "This is going to be the date from hell, but maybe he'll go away." And he showed up at my house. My mother had had an accident and had had some plastic surgery, so her face was all swollen big. And he walks in my house, and I turned to her. I go, "Here goes the date from hell." And she goes, "Well, at least he's cute." And that started the date. And he took me to a nice restaurant, and we just talked and had a good date. That was it.
That was it.
We probably dated 3 or 4 months, and he asked me to come work for him. I wasn't happy at my job that I was at. So he said, "Hey, come run my nursery for me." So I just quit my job and went to work for him. I don't know that I ever received a paycheck. So then I hear that he just married me so that he didn't have to pay me.
And here we are 31 years later.
Yes. She's still waiting for that paycheck.
Yeah.
Well,
So 90% of our marriage, we work together.
Yeah.
that's hard. I can't work with mine.
Yeah.
It is
It-
hard.
it's tough.
And it hasn't been easy. I mean, people ask us, how do you guys, married for 31 years, work together day in, day out? And here's, as everybody now knows, it now is almost a dependency that when one of us is gone, the other one's lost, mostly me.
Yeah, Angie's saying, "Thank goodness for the break."
Well,
And I'm
the
like-
nursery was probably the hardest one because I walked into his nursery
Right.
and kept trying to treat it like it was mine, and it was never mine. So when he decided to sell the nursery, great. Well, he immediately goes into the mortgage industry, and I was doing marketing. He somehow got me involved in the mortgage industry. I started learning, ended up being a processor by trade. We started our own mortgage company, but then we did it together. And he
Right.
had his role, and
So
I
now
had
it
mine.
was yours.
Right.
Right. And I
Yep.
had my specific role, and he had his specific role, and we tried not to cross over there. So we worked better that way together than we did as the nursery.
So you're doing this with a brand new baby.
Yes. Yeah.
That it's tough being a new mom, working every day with your husband in the business that you own after you just quit everything you know to start new. What were you thinking when he came to you and said, "This is what I want to do"?
I was a little nervous. It was real weird because we were working at a company together, and we were, he was commissioned, I was salaried, and he had a builder that kept sending in business, and they were wanting to use us exclusively, and they asked us to come up to Oklahoma and work from there and get them all going and rolling with a mortgage company. So we actually went there and we're setting them up. And that didn't go well at all. But at that time, he said, you know what? We need to start our own mortgage company. We need to quit working for somebody else. You and I can do it. Well, with us going to Oklahoma, setting up that one, it showed us that we could do
Right.
this.
So you felt a
And,
little bit more comfortable.
Right. And my thing was, okay, well, we're going to start from the house. Well, until the first weekend, we had 5 people standing in line outside my house. I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. We got to do something different.
Yeah,
Move
you
in
don't
office,
want them in
move
your
in
house,
office.
right? It's tough.
So-
I mean, it's one thing if you know them. It's something else if you don't.
Yeah, yeah. And this
And it was
80s
Yeah.
or in the early mid 90s, late 90s.
early
I
90s.
love you guys'
Yeah.
story. I love the passion. I love seeing that you guys do, I'm going to say 95% of things together, right?
Yeah. And
So
that's conservative.
I want to hear from your kids. I want to
No.
know if these stories are true.
No.
And I want to know what they say about all of this. You know, I just got to say, because Toby's amazing on the stage. He does these, he gets the crowd going. People love his story. But I want to hear from the family. Let's just see what's behind that. What do you guys think? You ready?
I'm
You
ready.
guys
Yeah.
His girls?
See, they all know that their inheritance is directly related to how they perform. And I can skip generations. I can go straight to the grandkids because, as I said this morning, there's 3 things you can count on: Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, yourself, and your grandkids. I bypassed all the kids.
Well, let's bring them up and see what they got to say. Let's bring up Taylor and her husband Chandler. Hey guys, how are you?
They're on
Welcome.
mute.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to and don't worry about the kids; they're part of the family, so that's okay. And I'm
You're
going
gonna hear
to
them in the background for sure.
Finally, hello everybody, welcome.
Hello.
How you doing?
All right, so any bantering going back and forth with what we've talked about, hearing from the girls.
Bantering.
Yeah, I want to know, is amazing, the amazing Toby Potter that we call him, excuse me, the amazing Dr. Toby Potter.
There you
Is
go.
he as amazing as he claims as a father?
Are we supposed She said, "Is he as amazing as a father?"
So let's start with the oldest. Taylor, tell us, tell the audience, you know, as a child, what good, bad, ugly, otherwise, and as I said, gloves are off. Inheritance is not off the table, but the gloves are off.
Hey, I do want to put in there though. You said grandchildren, so my dog should be on the.
No, I do not. Not that much. No.
No granddogs? Come on, Toby.
Exactly.
So growing up, oh gosh. Okay, so see how far we can take it, because when we were younger, we got the life of going out on a boat, and we had a motorhome and would travel, and then so that was like really cool. We thought we were all that in a bag of chips, but we didn't really understand too that not everyone like had that. And so it was really cool for Amber and I growing up on our land to cause all kinds of ruckus. We had some mini 4-wheelers, we had the horses. So
He let you be
growing
a
up, it was
kid?
kind of cool. Yeah.
He let you be a kid?
Yep.
That's good.
Yep, exactly.
So let me interject real quick. So, and that's a good point where Taylor talks about, we had the 50-foot yacht, we had the motorhome, they had the 4-wheeler. I mean, I don't know that at that early age in life that you guys ever wanted for anything, did you?
Oh no, we got everything we wanted.
We did.
then-
We got to do a lot, like sports and.
We did, like she was saying, we did sports. We would go out all the time. We're always going to the lake on the weekends. We got 4-wheelers. I think we got 2 sets of 4-wheelers for Christmas, like different Christmases. I wrecked.
Had to get bigger ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to get bigger ones because I wrecked all of
Oh,
them.
all of them.
Yeah. Not only hers, but she wrecked Taylor's too. So
And I
if
ran
you
into
can, yeah, if you can imagine, you got little Miss Taylor who's prime and proper and all this, cruising around on a four-wheeler, just enjoying the scenery, and then you got Amber, T-bone every time.
I
And
heard Amber was a mini Toby.
she's riding, looking over her shoulder, talking to somebody, and running into things.
Ran right through the shed.
So let's fast forward. You had
So
all
we
of
got
these.
to do like all kinds of sports, and I luckily did the one sport that Toby did not coach. I did competitive cheer, and that was great because he coached Amber in softball, he coached in volleyball, and having him as a coach is a totally different person.
It usually is. It usually.
And if he wasn't your coach, he was willing to coach how you
softball.
Yeah, if he wasn't your coach, he was coaching from the sidelines, and then my coach would get mad at me, and I'm like, "You tell him to stop talking. I'm gonna do it." And then he would
that's
get
funny.
voted out because he.
But I was supportive of the team, right?
I mean, you were at every practice and every game.
for sure.
You were always there. Sometimes we needed to duct tape,
Oh,
but you were always there, always cheering us on.
so how far apart are you guys? What's the age difference?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. 3 years. So let's fast forward. You had all of these toys, you had all the bells and whistles, you had all the stuff, and then things happened and you lost it all.
Yeah.
Let's start with Angie on that one.
Okay.
What happened? What did you go through? What went through your mind?
Survival.
That has to be tough. It had to be tough on the marriage. It had to be tough on the, definitely the business, and then just the relationships in general. How did you work through that as a couple?
That was our dark times.
What did you girls see as going through that? How did you witness your parents? What transpired there? How did you feel when you guys were losing your toys, your privileges, all the things that you were used to having?
So I was a little, obviously I was younger, and I don't remember a lot of it. I just remember not understanding why we couldn't go out to eat anymore. And we still had all the toys we already had, so I don't really remember. I remember them saying no more often than when they used to not. But my thing was going out to eat. We
you
never
did miss some
got to go out to eat anymore. Yeah, and I was like, why? I didn't understand it. I didn't understand that we had to now budget because we never had to do that growing up. So that was the big thing for me.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously I was older, and so I kind of watched and understood, and I watched the brokenness happen. And I will say they tried to make the changes fun. We had to uproot our life and move to Colorado, and we moved to multiple different houses, and they made it more of it was a new adventure for us, and the things Colorado, all the wildlife we'd get to see, and that, we'd see so much snow that we didn't get to see in Texas. And
A lot of hiking because it was free.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, a lot of sightseeing. Toby talks a lot about how we would, sniff coupons and stuff and take in water bottles. And I remember filling up our little coin. We had this big Coca-Cola coin jar, and it was a how much money we could put in it and fill it up. And once it got all the way full, we could take it in and get cash for it and stuff like that. And
So they
cutting
made
the
it fun.
coupons was a game, and so there was a lot of, they tried to make it light and fun.
Well, and I remember playing the coupons and stuff, but I always thought, I think they turned it into more of a game. Like, I don't remember the coins. I just remember every box of like cereal we had or whatever, we would cut the coupon or the little, what
Box
was it?
cup.
Yeah, those things. Because if we got a lot, we could take them to school and we'd get free stuff at school. And then doing the coupons, we thought it was really cool because it was like a game.
Well, it sounds like they did a great job hiding that stress from you. Angie, as their mother, how did you do that?
Trying to redirect, when they wanted to do something, we found things to keep them busy that didn't cost money. And it's amazing what you can come up with. We did a lot of puzzles, and we did games. We started doing game night, and just spending more time as a family together, because it's the one thing that they didn't notice that we noticed is when we had money, you had a lot of people coming around. And the minute you no longer have that money, your friends dwindle down. And so the friends weren't the family friends that we'd had for years, that we thought were part of the family, that were aunts and uncles, they weren't coming around anymore.
As long as you were doing for them, or they could come to your house and do things. I'm sorry, those are not friends.
Something I want to, the girls probably don't remember this, but they will when I bring it up. We had that big fancy house that we custom built. They both had their own bedrooms, their own bathrooms, these big old walk-in closets. And when we lost that house, we moved into that trailer house. And one of the things that we allowed them to soften the in our mind, and they probably never was a big deal, but what we allowed them to do was paint their rooms. And so they picked out these special colors that made them, though that was their room, because now all they got was a bedroom and a little bitty closet, and we all shared a bathroom. And so, but we said, whatever color you want, paint it. And this is part of what we did to keep them where they didn't really recognize this was a transformation from great to less than great.
But that also goes to show that kids really don't care. They just want dad. And you guys did a great job with that. But what was the strain like on the marriage? Because now you got 2 kids. The business isn't doing well. You've lost some stuff. What was that like? I mean, how long did it take for you to rebuild that?
It took a while. That was the hardest part, probably, because we were fighting more and not on the same page.
I was going to say, if you didn't fight, you guys are lying.
We were fighting more, and and of course at that time, now I've gone and gotten a job. He's doing insurance. We are living separately now. I mean, we're living together, but we're not working together anymore. Because we're doing everything we can to bring money into the house just to pay for vehicles. And, we were continuing to try to keep Taylor in cheer because that was her love. Amber in volleyball, that was her love. So this was stuff that we were still having to pay for, and they weren't cheap things. So I went and I was now processing and working out of the house. So our relationship had been built on, we knew what each other was doing at all times, and now we don't. And so we're also trying to navigate a different kind of relationship.
And that,
because you weren't never home to cook dinner anymore either.
Right. You're having to rely on each other's strengths and what you're going to bring in, and life has just become different.
Yep.
Money is one of the biggest issues that a marriage faces. And,
we built Imperial Mortgage from the ground up. We built it. She jumped up, but when we sold the landscape company, there was no money. We were living in a rented house. Taylor was 3 months old. I was it was all commission. There was no money there. She didn't have another job yet, and we built that. And working, I went to her. It was a brother-in-law that was in the industry, and so he let me come sit with him for 30 days to kind of learn it. And I realized within about 60, 90 days that wasn't going to work out. But I had enough knowledge and enough confidence that I did interview and went to work for a lady, and then immediately, within about 3 to 4 months, was performing enough that I could entice her to bring Angie on as a processor to help out, because we were doing it. But see, we built that together from nothing to something, and when the crash happened and we lost it all, it was a matter of we weren't happy.
Right.
But I don't think the most important thing. And I will tell you this. I will tell the whole world. That lady right there don't quit for nothing. I mean, we would get into some pretty hefty arguments, and I'm being nice. And I would say, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. I'm not doing this crap anymore. Whatever. And she's like, whatever. You'll be back here in about 20 minutes. And sure enough, but there was never any quit in her, which instilled that in me. That, you know what, if she's that dedicated, that devoted, and I will tell you, you just when you have a bond as tight as the three of us did, or the four of us, me and the three women. I'm sorry, I wasn't leaving you out.
I'm always left out.
I mean, the bond between me and you three, you just don't walk away from it. You fight through it, you fight for it, and you fight to achieve and hope that you come out on top.
Absolutely. But you said something on stage in Africa that Angie kind of got you.
Yeah.
Angie, talk
Yeah,
about that.
During COVID.
Because you're going down this road again.
Yeah,
Right.
we're going down this road again. We had rebuilt, and then COVID happened, which nobody was expecting. Nobody knew how to navigate that. For about 30 days, we just kept thinking that our markets were going to come back. They weren't, but yet we were seeing rates drop really low, and Toby was just kind of lost, like where to go. And I came in one day and I was like, hey, you gotta figure this out. We got a lot of families that depend on you, and basically quit sitting in the corner of your office sucking your thumb. I need you to do something different. And I already had my NMLS, but in order for us to move forward with that, he had to get his NMLS, and the company had to be NMLS approved for us to be able to do regular loans. And that's where the market was. So he figured that out with a little bit of help, and that was the direction we spun to be able to survive our markets being down. We went into the single family residence, owner occupied homes, and found a niche.
You bought some yourself and then developed them.
Right. We found a niche. We got into, there were several people we knew that had motorhomes. And with the rates dropping below 2, they had motorhomes at 5 and 6%. So they did cash outs on their primary residence to pay off their motorhomes, or they went and bought new motorhomes at 2% interest rate on a 30-year fixed rate. So it was a wonderful thing, and they're seeing they're seeing probably 300 people at their rallies, and that's all people were doing at this point in time. We're going out in motorhomes, going camping, because there was nothing else to do during COVID.
But then now your girls are older. So I want to hear from Amber and Taylor on What was that like now, seeing your parents struggling? 'Cause now you're older,
Seeing our parents do what?
struggling.
Oh
They're
yeah.
struggling. So talk about that.
Well, I think when we were in high school, I guess middle school, I was so busy playing volleyball anyways, but high school is when you started forming global integrity. I worked there every day after school and all summer. And that was kind of cool to see because it was something different, something I had never seen him do before. And then he also had the hobby of doing the fix and flips. So we were going every weekend to these properties and seeing how progress was. And so it was kind of cool just to see like the light bulb click for him and see that he found something that he actually liked again.
Which is good.
Yeah, because I think was about when I was in elementary school. Because we
Say
did
that again.
when the coffee shop. That was when I was in elementary school, and so that was another,
You don't even have to go into that.
It was just basically, yes, he enjoyed it a little bit, but it wasn't something that he was on fire for and had a passion for. It was just a means to an end.
Getting by.
Let's back this bus up because I want to hear from Amber as what was it like to have the amazing Dr. Toby Potter
No,
as
we're
your
not there yet.
father and your
We're not
coach?
there yet. Taylor,
What was-
I want to hear from you when COVID hit. How did that make you feel? And you saw your parents struggling. So you were a little bit older.
Yeah, I was.
We had already met. We
We had met. Yeah, so I was kind of probably a little bit more removed, going from college and then meeting Chandler. I think at that time that was just seeing everybody struggle through COVID and stuff.
Right.
But it was kind of cool because it's scary whenever you're looking at all these businesses shutting down. Everyone's not going anywhere, but he was really big about we're keeping the doors open. We're keeping the doors open. We're not letting this bring us down. And he was very big about his workers. He wanted to keep them safe, but his employers, if they wanted to come in, they could. Each office had their own section. If they wanted to work from home, they could. But it was also, yeah, whatever was easiest for you, go ahead. But also, so many people were so scared. There's a lot.
It doesn't sound like he was giving up, though. He wasn't quitting.
Absolutely not.
Well, and that was the big thing is I was kind of like her where I was kind of removed because I was on the last year of college. I was like I was in junior year, about to be a senior in college. And so I didn't know the extent of it. I just knew, like she said, we saw businesses shutting down and he was like, no, we're going to do whatever we can. But being a state away, they both also had that fear of if something worse happened, I'm a state away. So we can't keep in touch anyway. But I just knew that whatever was going to happen, Global was going to survive it as much as he could make it happen. If it obviously might work.
So now I want to hear what was it like growing up with Toby Potter as a dad?
Ooh, that gets
Do you want to go
dicey.
first, or do you want me to go first?
We
I'm going to sit back.
different childhoods. I'd say Amber and I are complete opposites. We grew up completely opposites. I can remember the biggest time I've ever gotten in trouble was when I stole something, and I was probably 5 or 6. And I wanted this cute little stuffed animal, and he said no. And I put it in my pocket, and we walked out of the store. And being me, most people can understand, I pulled it out and was like, oh my gosh, I accidentally put this in my pocket. Tried to play it cool, and he turned that car around and made me go in and give it back to them. And they were like, oh, she can keep it. She can keep it. And I said, if you guys don't take this back, and I knew that whole way home, that as soon as we got home, it was going to be so bad. So bad. But I never stole again. I never stole again.
Well,
After that punishment, if anything I did it once and I never did it again or came even close to doing it again. Like, and both, I think Aaron and I can agree. If we were getting in trouble, we would beg for mom to spank us and not dad. Do not tell dad. I will never do it again as long as you do not tell dad. Because if dad was coming home to spank you, or if you were doing something and he was spanking you, it was bad. It was so bad. That was bad. But I had to constantly watch my sister, always in trouble.
oh, he was a troublemaker, huh?
I'm just gonna say I was a curious child, and I kept their life interesting. And
That's what we call it, curious, huh?
Telling you how it went. But everyone also knows if you've ever had all four of us in the same place, I'm just like him.
That's what I keep hearing, and I'm seeing some of that right now.
Makes sense. But yes, I was a curious child, and I liked to test the boundaries to see how far I could get something before I got in trouble. But I was also the same way on don't know that. You do this on your own. You got it.
I remember like begging for mom. Like if he was about to spank us, begging for mom.
No, mom can do it. You got to work outside or something.
Well, was he present? Was he a present father?
He was. I don't ever remember a time of him not being around either volleyball practices, volleyball tournaments, school functions, cheer competitions. Even though I hated going to those, he was always. Both of them were always around, and so it was really cool when they. Obviously, when I was born, they were already working together. I think there was one point that mom had a different job, but always together. So we were always going to the offices. And hanging out in the offices, just always together. And so, yeah.
You know how many dads are not present during sporting activities and just life in general. Yeah, it's so important. But he's made it very clear from the stage that he was not going to be that kind of dad. He was going to be a present father.
Right.
And I do feel that he's held that was a true statement, that he really did his best to make sure that happened.
Oh, yeah. Even when I was at volleyball and was like, stop talking. You're going to make stop it.
So let's move over to
the look.
Every parent has a look.
When I'm playing a volleyball game.
Amber misses the ball and you don't even look into the stands. He never played volleyball before.
But he knew it all, didn't he? He knew it all. Yeah. That's what my kids used to say.
So the only championship she has and her title was coached by me.
Oh.
The only championship she has was
Who was
coached
the
by
assistant
me.
coach who had played?
Do I hear some bragging, Dr. Potter?
Oh,
Just saying.
Great.
that was 6th grade.
I want to talk to these handsome men sitting next to you. Let's say that you have a official son-in-law and you have a new son-in-law getting ready to happen here in a couple months. So Chandler, what's it like being married into the Potter family?
So I'll let you figure it out for yourself based on my initial meeting of them. I'll tell this story first. So I had met Taylor. We'd been dating probably a couple weeks, I would say. You know, we knew we really liked each other. We knew we were going to be, we were serious pretty early. So big thing is to meet her parents, right? Well, she invites me up to church up here. We lived about an hour from each other at the time. So I come up to church. They're already sitting in their seats. Taylor comes and gets me out front, and we walk in, and I'm a little nervous and whatnot. And I come up, and the first thing he says is, "Taylor, I thought you were bringing a cute boy. Who is this?" So,
oh boy!
I just that was the start of me being in the family, and I'm just gonna say it didn't really let up. It's held pretty constant the whole time. So take it for what it's worth. But But,
Well, but
no,
he walked her down the aisle, I'm assuming.
he did. I think a little begrudgingly, but no, it's all that to say he was self-admittedly hard on me the first probably 6 months to a year, and it just goes to show you perseverance wins over a lot of things. Not a dead skunk underneath your house, but I think
So what's he like as a grandpa?
Oh,
he's a really good grandpa. I can honestly say he loves those kids more than his own kids. So.
He ain't wrong.
There's just something about grandbabies. I don't know what it is. All right. So, Conley, what's it like? How do you feel marrying into this family? I mean, it's not too late.
Well,
That's right. It's not too late.
she reminds me very often that it's not too late for her to pull out. No, it was exciting. The first impression that I got from Toby when we first met, too. I mean, when I describe him to a lot of people, as like a traditional tough dad. The first time that we met, it was during COVID. We came out to his house when they were going martial law and shutting everything down, and we went out there for about a week or so. And the first time I met Toby, he shook my hand and was like, "We'll see if you're still here in 6 months." And I was like, "Okay." And we ended up playing games, having a good time. It was cool to see the humble side of him, because I came from not a low income family, more middle class. And when I first saw the things they had in the house and stuff, I was a little nervous that they're going to be the greedy rich people. And when I first met them, they were very humble and loving and brought me in pretty early. Even though the toughness that he gave me was tough love, but it was still fun.
it's just an act. He's a little teddy bear.
It's exciting. I mean, he's taught me a lot. He really has. At the 6th month, I came in. I said, "Toby, I'm still here," and he shook my hand again and said, "We'll give it a year." And I came back that year. I said, "Toby, I'm not going anywhere, man." And then when the time came for me to ask for the permission for the proposal, we sat down, and I was sweating bullets and shaking. And he told me, he was like, "Are you sure you're the man?" And I was like, "Toby, I don't think I'm getting any better than this." But he's a good guy, man. I'm really excited. The family's loving. They're very accepting. I couldn't ask for a better family-in-law, basically. So,
Well, Taylor's got you beat on kids already, so you better get to catching up here in November.
I got 2 dogs.
yeah, we got plenty of dogs.
We're doing great over here.
Oh my gosh. So how do you guys feel about your dad speaking? Are you excited about this new chapter?
So
Different.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
First. It's definitely different. I do like hearing, because he's always been a very good speaker. Any job that he's ever had or business that he's ever had, people always gravitate towards him. All of my friends, like, we used to have a Bible study group every week, and high schoolers, we'd come up and do study, and everyone gravitated towards him. Like, and none of our friends wanted to hang out with us; they wanted to hang out with him. So, hearing him speak is so much fun. It's just different because social media is so big now that everyone sees everything. So it's really weird. And my friends are like, "I saw your dad's video," and I'm like, "That's okay. I'm glad you like it. I don't know."
I'm like, which one?
Yeah.
Do you feel, what do you think his biggest impact is going to be for the audience that hears his story or just hears him in general? Either one of you can answer that.
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think his story of where he came from and what he did to build himself up, and it wasn't anyone else's help besides him and obviously my mom, who kept that's going to be the biggest impact, because there's a lot of people that speak and do all these speeches that don't have the hardship. They kind of just got thrown into a role, and they're just really good at speaking and really good at making things happen. But from him coming from where he came from and the hardships that he dealt with at such a young age, and then just building from the ground up, I think it's going to be the most impactful.
it's very helpful to hear people struggling and to see how they've overcome. When I'm hearing a speaker, I like to see if I can put myself in their story to see how I can come out of the problem that I'm in. So, and I think he's very real with it, and he is humble, and he takes people, and that says a lot. It says a lot. So, Taylor, how do you feel about your dad speaking?
I feel like I have been around for a lot of, so with Global, he used to do a ton of events, and we'd always make fun of him because he can talk, and he can talk for a long time. We'd have Monday morning meetings with the whole team, and Rochelle is always like looking at her watch, like, I got loans to close, like loans to fund and stuff. Like, come on, Toby. But he's always been one to be like he likes to motivate people. He wants to motivate people to work, to do things to better themselves. So now seeing him speaking more and going to speaking events and stuff, I really do feel like that's up his alley because he loves to talk, but he also loves to be motivational for people. And so I think where he's going is on like the right path for him.
Never know what a child's going to do, right?
He's just like giggling. Sure.
That's okay. I have 4 of them, so I think he's got a passion to help others. How do you feel about this going into other countries and the global shift that he's getting ready to start working on? Oh, look at that one. We have 2. There's 2.
That's a little crazy. Going to other countries is it's a whole different world.
One of the things that neither one of them are brought up, but they, we all went to the Dominican Republic. Taylor and I went first on our first mission trip, and the life transformation that she experienced there was so empowering that we immediately took Amber and Angie back the next 2 years. And then, like Amber said, we ended up taking, I think, 12 kids like the 3rd year because of the stories that were coming back. So they already saw me performing and being on that mission field and how powerful it was and how life transformation was, and not just for the people, but for myself. And so they've kind of already seen that side of it and are, fully invested in continuing that.
Well, and they'd also seen it when you were doing the kids youth group at the house.
Yeah, the 24-hour victory. That's what Amber was saying.
What do you think because I hear him say, and I truly believe that he means this, that he would do this full time if it was to make a difference and help others. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. He says he wants to do it, but I don't know if he could truly step away from what he's built as like a hard money investor and a hard money lender. Because even before he got into like the speaking, he wanted to take the RV and go every weekend traveling, and he just couldn't do it because work was so busy. So I think his heart means well when he says that. I just don't know if he can give up the legacy that he has with Global Integrity Finance.
But what if he could?
We'll be there supporting.
I can say this: he's never told me no. He says, let's go, and I get him the appointments, and he does. Now he's still working behind the scenes doing his lending and stuff. So he's working very hard. It's almost like he's got 2 and 3 jobs. And then of course he's got your mom in the background doing things. I'm like, well, where's Angie? And she's working.
Yeah.
She's taking her from us.
It can be done. You can speak and still hold down what you've got. Absolutely can. And who all works for the company?
I
used it
when I was in high school, but we live in Oklahoma. So
okay.
Raise your hand. You work.
No.
Yeah.
I just.
Taylor does too.
Well, now you become his realtor.
Oh, that's true.
So Chandler, I thought you were going to share about our amazing elk hunting trip.
Well, I didn't know how much time we had, and
We got a couple more minutes. I would
Okay,
love to
so
hear about that.
I'll tell this story too, because we want to talk about who Toby is. So, I love hunting, and I've always loved hunting, and I've never got to go on an elk hunt. And Toby and them, he's shared a ton of stories of him and his brothers going elk hunting and taking his nephews. Just, man, it's awesome, it's awesome, it's awesome. So he very generously takes me on this awesome elk hunt to Colorado. It's me, him, and his brother. So we go on this elk hunt, and unbeknownst to us, we leave out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, bright and early, about 4 a.m. one morning, and it is snowing, like more snow than I've ever seen in my life. We end up getting diverted. Snow. And long story short, they had about 36 inches of snow in about 24 hours, which no animal enjoys 36 inches of snow. And about every elk on that mountain was off the mountain by the time we get up to the mountain. So
Oh, wow.
we get on this hunt, we get up the mountain, we brave through, we're riding mules up there, and we're optimistic. We're like, man, we're going to get this bull elk. We're going to get this elk. So after about 2 or 3 days of not seeing anything, we see this beautiful elk. I mean, he's huge. It's just, this is the one of those that you're going to get and you're going to put on your wall forever. So what does Toby kindly do? He takes 2 shots at it, intentionally missing both, to guarantee that I don't get the elk. And you know what? I know
That's not true. That's not true.
He ended up going left. I went right. The elk went left, and he ended up getting on him. But I never, ever will let him live it down. Missed the trophy elk on what would be a storied hunt for generations to come. So
he's not wrong there. He's not wrong there, but
it was a fun time freezing our butts off up there.
Oh,
Go on here in a minute. You and your brother, Toby, or yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love the family cohesion. There's all these things that you guys are doing together. Absolutely. But Chandler, what was it like when you first married Taylor? Did you have butting in-laws?
I don't think so necessarily. I mean, there's always is. Anybody that's ever been married knows that you have to get used to it, right? And you have to learn to now not only be a part of your family, but now integrate into this other family, and vice versa. Taylor integrating into my family. But as far as like butting in, I wouldn't say so at all. I think after the year trial that Toby put me on to get into the family, I think at that point we were on a very good terms of understanding that, I like kind of like Conley said, I wasn't going anywhere and he wasn't going anywhere. So, hey, we're just going to get along and, and enjoy the ride, so to speak. So no, I truthfully never felt like that at all. And, it's been so cool to see our 2 kids and watch them be grandparents and get to start that season of life and pour into them and how well they've done in that and how much they soak it up every day. So that's been really cool.
No, that's good. So Amber, what's it like seeing your parents as grandparents?
Oh, it's the best thing ever. I mean, we've obviously established that me and Taylor are just kind of in la land when the kids are around, which is fine because they're very fun and cute kids. Like, can't be mad about it. But sometimes we still need attention, and that all goes.
Did you get forgotten about? The grandkids come along and
I don't. Before this, I don't think they knew that he had another daughter.
And you're the baby.
You were the
baby. And she is correct. She is my favorite youngest daughter.
That's what my dad always says about my favorite oldest granddaughter, my favorite youngest granddaughter. Yeah.
Yep.
It's been really fun. I mean, I already knew they were going to be such great grandparents just because of how they raised us. I think we turned out decent. But just seeing them,
I don't hear either one of them complaining.
Just seeing them now, it's funny because we're like, oh, you would have told us no when we were kids, but you're not telling Emmy. Let's rethink this.
Very true.
Yeah. Chandler will tell Emmy no I'll say, yeah, Emmy, you can't. No, she cannot. She cannot.
Anytime I'm in the room, he'll side eye me like, I'm not allowed to answer. Her dad has to answer.
Yeah. You know, you asked about whether we butted in as parents when they first got married, and he's correct. I think we pretty much let them grow up and get to know each other and form a family. And I think we butt in more now as grandparents on the grandkids than we ever did about how they were, you know, growing up as husband and wife. I think that there's any conflict, it is we want to be grandparents and they don't allow us to be grandparents. You know, we want to give them the sugars, we want to give them the cookies. We want to, you know, when I think I babysat Emmy one time, and I don't remember where Angie was. I think she was with Taylor, but anyway, I had to have Emmy back to their house because they were out, and she stayed up with me till 10:30, and we had a blast. And you know, and so it's just, but it's so much fun, and they'll realize that these two girls, as I've shared on stage, were my world. Everything that I did was focused on making sure they were loved, they were cared for, they were provided for, they were given as much as possible. And then they became adults. One jumped, you know, moved up to Oklahoma, has never come back. The other one went and got married. And so they left me high and dry. And the minute that I got the grandchild, I was like back in those days again, back in that I can now, you know, relive those days. And Chandler says, no. You were mean
That's
to
not
me.
true.
You
That's
were
not
mean
true.
to me.
How many days? Ask him how many days a week he gets to see his grandkids.
7.
Probably more than a lot of grandparents do.
Exactly.
Brenda
He is not deprived.
So, but it is a great, you know.
Although I
and
do hear
shared-
they would like sleepovers.
Yeah, allow sleepover.
Well, what's funny is I think they're getting a sleepover in 2 weeks, but he decided to travel and not be there. So, you know, we can't control that. You know, Angie gets a sleepover in 2 weeks with both kids
That's
all
our
on her
second
own.
sleepover.
Yeah.
Toby decided to go travel. So, you know.
Second sleepover.
Yeah, I got to be in Florida with you, Brenda. Thanks.
Oh, well, they're welcome to come.
Angie, did I not say today, book a flight, have your butt in Florida on Friday. The minute they drop those kids off, beeline to the airport, get on a plane. I'll meet you there. We'll go. She's like,
Actually, he's going to be in the room with some pretty great people. We're going to level up Emerald Coast, and we're going to be in the presence of Jeff Hoffman and David Costa and a couple other really great businessmen. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And so far, Toby has been able to share the stage with Kevin Harrington, Chukia Kobe, Anthony Trucks.
Anthony Trucks.
My all-time favorite, Dr. Reuben West, and right behind him is Sir Clyde Rivers. Just some amazing people, and trying to talk him into going to Zanzibar.
Well, that's what I had a call today with Mr. Chanman, and the cards are in his hand. So however he wants to play that deck out. But there's an opportunity there for me to go to Zanzibar, depending on how this week goes and depending upon how things play out. But there would be, you know, potential opportunity for that. We got Zanzibar. We've got we're heading right back to Africa. We've got that being built out in the next 90 days. And Pakistan right behind that. 25 to 30,000 people in Pakistan will be speaking.
Well, in Dubai.
In Dubai.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if you go to Zanzibar, you're going to be speaking. You will be helping MC royalty.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty powerful. Not many people in the speaking industry will have some of the opportunities that you have in front of you because you've made your connections. You've done the work. You're telling your story. You're being authentic about the story, and people want that. There's a need for it. There's a hunger to see, how can I do it too?
Right.
How can I do it too? How can I overcome? How can I get to the next level? And you share that. You share the ups and downs. You share your family. You share all of these things that will help other people. So I want the girls to know that he talks about you constantly. So even when he's not with you, he's with you. He's got you with him. He even talks
They
about
are-
the sun.
Well, don't go there. Then I got to listen to him saying, "Hey,
Talks
you did
about
talk
me.
about
Doesn't necessarily talk good or bad. Just
Ah, good point, good point. But one thing I think we all know is that he talks about those grandbabies
We know.
and the pictures that come out and all that. But I've heard about the wedding, Amber. I've heard all of this wonderful things. How they're prepping for it. Your mom keeps reminding me of the dates. Don't book him during this time. Remember Amber's wedding. And they're doing everything in their power to make sure that you guys are all inclusive. And let me tell you, I work with a lot of speakers. I work with a lot of people who want to do this, and they leave their family behind. I don't see him doing that. I don't see him do it. So you're very, very blessed. Well, we've been on a little over an hour. Sometimes people start to get bored, but I think this will be to be continued after Amber gets married.
Yeah, we'll have to bring it back up and see how, because what Chandler didn't announce or talk about was at their wedding, father of the bride speech.
Did he behave himself, Chandler?
at our wedding.
Yes. Did he behave himself?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd give him a B plus for sure.
Okay.
The speech was epic. The speech got everybody fired up, and so so now the anticipation is the people that heard my father the bride speech about Chandler and his induction into the family, they are just on fire for Conley, because and I have really enhanced my speaking skills, so it will be unbelievable.
And that's one thing. That's one thing about Toby is he's not going to disappoint the people if that's what the people want. So
Right.
I'm sorry, Conley.
Super excited
But,
to hear the speech.
I get to see him in action. We're going to be speaking to about 15,000 children in Lawton, Oklahoma, the first part of October.
Yeah,
Your own stomping grounds.
which is right around your neck of the woods, Amber. So I guess you'll be there. Great.
A little far away, but
No, it's close. You can drive it.
for what?
October 6th through the 8th. Well,
We're busy.
6th and 7th is when he'll be speaking. So we get to go around to the different, they can't house them all under one roof. So we got to go to school to school to school. But there's still a lot of students. He'll be in 6 different schools.
Emerson, do you think Papa T's cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. See? You like Papa T, don't you, baby?
Yeah, I like Gigi too.
We weren't talking about Gigi. We were talking about Papa T.
And Concon.
Hi.
Con Con.
Hi, Emmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it.
See, for
She's
anybody
been
out there.
waiting.
What's that, baby?
She's been waiting patiently to have her turn to talk.
See, Brenda,
Let her talk.
this is the story right here. This is why people make decisions and they envision a future. And if they aren't achieving this right here, then they're lost. It doesn't get any better than this. I can tell anybody and everybody that's listening, this is what it's all about. If you're missing this right here, these two girls, their husbands, the grandkids, if you're not, and these girls will tell you, I've never missed an event. Never. And most of the time, like Amber would say, I was coaching them. My brother has coached his boys. His boys are now coaching their kids. See, this is just the way we are built. And this is what we do. And my brother now goes to every soccer, every T-ball. I mean, this is just, he of course fully retired, but it's about quality of life. It's about believing that you are given an opportunity to change lives, and it has to start right here. It has to start at home. And if that home base is not built, then everything else is just fake. It's hypocritical. You can't go step on stage telling people how to be great this, in your home life be a disaster.
Right. That's right. That's right.
It's hypocritical. And I'll tell you, whether I'm on this camera or not, I know for every person that they talk to, they're going to say the same message.
That's the
And
way it's supposed to
probably, yeah, they're probably sick of having their friends and everybody say how amazing I am. Because like Amber said, their friends came over because they wanted to come hang out with us. We had a golden rule. We started with Taylor because they were girls, that if you wanted to hang out with my daughter, Taylor at the time, you had to come to our house. Now we had volleyball, we had sand volleyball, we had wiffle ball, we had a 20-acre pond where you could do anything. We did everything. We had paintball, but there was no alcohol, there was no drugs. And if you left, you couldn't come back. And it was a golden rule, and everybody knew it. But you know what? We had 20, 30, 40 kids there every weekend. They knew no alcohol, no drugs, no fighting, no nothing. And if you want to fight, here I am. You can fight me all you want. We'd put the gloves on and go to town. It only happened one time, and then they all quit. But see, everybody came to hang out because it was the cool place to be. Same thing with Amber. Then her group comes
where
up.
your kids were.
And I knew my kids were. I mean, we had just built this house at the 1st of October. It wasn't even really completed, but we had a Halloween party, and we had 20, 30 kids. I don't know if you remember. All the girls slept in a room. It was our media room, but it wasn't finished out. They all got little mats on it, and all the guys slept outside in their trucks.
No. Prom after party. Prom after party.
Was that what it was, a prom after party? And that's just the way it was. But they knew this was the place to be. And it was cool. And everybody knew it. And that's the life that they got to experience. Because in September of 1995, that little girl was born. And 3 months later, I made a decision. And the rest is history.
And I think that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, I'm going to go around. We're going to have one final word. Toby, you're not allowed to speak.
All right, I'll mute myself.
So we're going to start with the youngest. So Amber, give me one thing that you love most about your parents.
Oh, the one thing I love most is that no matter what is happening or what time, they will always answer the phone and be there. I talk to my mom every single day, and I talk to my dad almost every single day. But growing up, that was always there, no matter what the situation was. We could always trust that they were going to answer the phone.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah,
All right.
I could definitely second and agree on that. And it's definitely one of those, like, no matter what the situation is, what's going on, we can always call them. And they always have encouragement or advice to give. I'd also say, like, my dad's drive for any and everything. He doesn't go in. He doesn't tiptoe in.
It's all or nothing.
All or nothing. And then for my mom, she's a very supportive person. Anything we've ever wanted to do, she's been there supporting. Everything dad wants to do, she's right there with him, supporting him. And she's definitely one person you can always call just to talk to, just to vent, we could probably be on the phone and not talking, and it's just a breath of fresh air.
Oh, that's amazing. That is. So Angie, give our audience something about sticking in a marriage. Is it worth it?
Oh, yes. I was raised, my parents are still married today. And they exposed to me, hey, you can fight and then you make up and the marriage continues. And so that was how I brought up. When I chose to get married, there were no other options. Divorce wasn't an option.
Right. Same here.
Because
you're going to fight with somebody new too.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the grass isn't greener on the other side. So I was always taught that, when you get married, that's your one person for the rest of your life. So you choose wisely.
Yeah.
And so I made that choice, and he's it.
And I love that. And you made the choice, and he's it. So Toby, Dr. Toby Potter, it's weird saying that.
I want Chandler to say it.
Ah,
Can't do it. So when they both got their the doctorate, right? They send it in their certificate. They send it in the group chat, and I said, "Congratulations, Toby and Dr. Angie Potter." He didn't appreciate that very
he
much.
just
I
got
thought
the
it was a great
high and
joke.
deep, and she got the doctor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And he wonders why. He wonders why.
You wouldn't have it any other way. So, Toby, tell us how you've kept your family together and the advice that you can give to others about being self-employed.
You know, when I look back at all that we've been through, ups and downs, the one thing that always kept me focused was I could not be without them. No matter what was going wrong, how bad it got, there was always this emptiness and this fear that if I walked away, I would lose them, and that wasn't an option.
Right. But good for you for thinking that way.
I don't, and there were times I didn't care if Angie liked me or not. I didn't, it was, those girls were my world. Those girls were everything to me. And she could tell me to go fly a kite, and I'd say, okay, but I'm gonna do it sitting right outside because I got to see my girls in the morning. I gotta be there for them.
Right.
And it didn't matter. And so there was always that when things got bad, when we fought, I just couldn't ever let them down.
Right.
And that's what was the driving force, is I could never disappoint my girls, ever.
And you're still doing it to this day. It still drives you because now you got grandbabies.
And I'm telling you,
it has to continue.
That little girl that was just on there, she's everything. She's amazing. And Cam, the boy, and I can't wait for him to start, getting up and running around because he is a ball of fire already. I mean, he's twice the fireball she was, and she's over the top amazing. So I somehow I got to figure out a way that Chandler likes me more than he does now, so that he'll allow me to be that grandfather that I long for. And the whole world, if I could get everybody on Facebook and TikTok to rally in and say, Chan, be nice to your father-in-law and let him have his due with his grandkids. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love it. Just go on and DM, chime in.
I think Amber and Kindly will let you babysit the dogs.
No.
You're more than welcome.
It was Taylor's cat.
Hey, Harley misses Papa Toby.
I'm sure Harley does. Harley digs up my plants. Harley tears up my fence.
He's over that phase now.
Whatever. But I just need faces to rally behind me here and support me, because you all saw how amazing the little girl was, how amazing the little boy is, and I just want to be a grandfather. I just want to spend time with him. And Chandler puts this big barrier wall up and says, "Nope, not today, buddy. Not today."
That would be your first rallier.
Yeah, it looks like Randy in the comments is hopping on your bandwagon. Shocker.
See, it only takes one. It takes one spark to start a forest fire. Come on, Facebook, chime in, back me up here, back me up.
Is overnight.
That's funny. Well, guys, it has been real. We will continue this as things go on, but I think we'll let Amber and Conley get married, and then we will come back and see what's going on.
Back.
But stay watching what's happening with the Potter family.
We will film.
Unfold.
Yeah, we will film so much from that, and then we'll play snippets of it. We'll have this live rally right here, and then we'll say, all right, Conley, what do you think about this? And then we'll have this little snippet of me getting up there speaking or something. And how did you feel? How did you? And this will be so. I wish we could have done that with Chandler, because I did kind of sort of a little bit roast him a little bit, not too bad. But it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic.
Well, it was
my sister-in-law. My
Go ahead.
sister-in-law said that she heard the father of the bride speech for Chandler, and can't wait to hear comments.
Yeah, Toby already pre-apologized. He's gonna apologize.
Oh boy.
Mom
Okay.
and Nana, so I guess I'm a little nervous. But
Yeah.
Oh, funny. That's
As you
good.
should be.
Well, congratulations on the upcoming marriage. I'm sure it's
Thank
going to be a beautiful wedding. And you guys can reach out. Just keep the comments coming. You guys can rewatch it if you've missed some of it. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to hearing more. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.